There are names that echo in the shadows of American crime. Names that never fade. And then, there's one that chills every corner of the human psyche. Ted Bundy. When the news first broke in 1978, it sounded almost impossible. A clean-cut law student, charming, articulate, and confident. Arrested in Florida for the brutal murders of 2 young women. But the story didn't start there. It stretched back years, across Washington State, Oregon, Utah, Colorado, and Idaho. A trail of vanished lives and unanswered questions. Investigators would later connect Bundy to at least 30 confirmed murders between 1974 and 1978. He confessed to many of them. Yet, even as he faced execution, he hinted there were more. Much more. How many more, no one truly knows. Bundy's double life was the perfect disguise. By day, he worked on political campaigns, volunteered for crisis hotlines, and earned the trust of everyone around him. By night, he prowled college towns and suburban streets, studying habits, learning patterns, and blending in. His intellect didn't save his victims. It helped him hide from the law. In the mid-1970s, the Pacific Northwest trembled under a single name whispered across police scanners. Ted Bundy. Different jurisdictions, similar descriptions. A young man with a cast, or crutches, asking for help. Every clue led nowhere, until a few survivors began to recall the same Volkswagen Beetle. When Bundy was finally arrested, the country learned what investigators already feared. They weren't dealing with an ordinary killer. They were facing a manipulator who enjoyed the chase, who studied investigation methods to stay one step ahead. Even in custody, Bundy proved invincible. He escaped twice. Once from a courthouse library in Colorado. Then again from a Colorado jail cell months later. Each time, he disappeared into the American landscape, as if swallowed by the dark. His last rampage in Florida ended only when police caught him driving a stolen car. By then, the nation had a new name for terror. Ted Bundy was convicted of the Chi Omega murders at Florida State University and sentenced to death. But before the electric chair hum ever sounded, he spoke of dozens more victims. Some, he said, were buried where no one would ever find them. After his execution in 1989, detectives re-examined his timelines. They traced his movements to highway projects, forested areas, and road construction sites where he'd once worked. Places where soil was moved, paved, and covered. Places that could hide anything perhaps forever. Those findings reignited an unsettling possibility that Bundy's tally might stretch far beyond the 30 known names. The FBI's VICAP program, then still new, compiled missing person reports that matched Bundy's travel routes. Dozens of young women disappeared in patterns eerily similar to his known cases. No remains. No closure. Only fragments. A bone, a tooth, a trace of clothing unearthed decades later. Each raising the same quiet question. Could it have been him? To this day, analysts revisit cold case databases looking for overlaps. Some families still call detectives, asking if their missing daughters fit Bundy's timeline. The answers are careful, restrained, and never certain. Because such cases' certainty may have died with Bundy himself. Psychologists who studied him described a man without empathy. Though he mimicked normalcy, he learned to mirror emotion, to weaponize charm. Even in interviews, he dissected his own crimes as though analyzing someone else's experiment. And perhaps, in his mind, that's exactly what it was. An experiment in control. Shortly before his execution, Bundy granted a final series of interviews. He admitted many bodies would never be found, and some investigators believed he meant it literally. That he used the remoteness of construction zones, riverbanks, and forest roads to bury truth beneath the works. Today, more than 40 years later, law enforcement databases still mark unidentified remains found along interstates, spanning the states Bundy once crossed freely. They may never be matched. And that's the coldest reality of all. That evil can vanish into the ordinary, hidden under the same asphalt we drive on daily. Ted Bundy's story ended in a Florida prison. But the questions he left behind still breathe in the archives of every cold case unit. What really happened to the missing? Where are they now? And how many souls remain uncounted, forever lost? Beyond Evil? You've been listening to Beyond Evil, True Crime. Subscribe and stay with us. Because in the dark corners of history, some stories are never truly over.